A blow-off top is coming. Blow-off top is coming to US stocks and crypto and Bitcoin. Do you believe that is true now? I've been the one who's been calling for this blow-off top for all this time. And look at where we are right now, right? Bitcoin forming a bull flag, about to take off. NASDAQ 100 already hitting its all-time high. Basically, look at where we are right now. Right? NASDAQ just closed in all-time high territory. Bitcoin very close, bull flag, breakout, blow off top. This is what I've been calling for all this time. The NASDAQ is the QQQ, NASDAQ 100. Look at this. Highest closing history now, right? Highest closing history, blow off top. So this episode, we're going to explain exactly where Bitcoin and SP 500 will top. I'll give you exact numbers where I think it's going to top, and I'll give you the exact timing of where I think it's going to top. What month? First, let me just spare you the suspense. I think it's end of 2025, somewhere between September to November this year, right? Somewhere around there, and I'll give you specific numbers where I think SP 500 and Bitcoin are going to top, but I always use the words blow off top. I wanted to make sure people don't misunderstand this, because a lot of idiots say, oh, he says up and down, up and down. No, I'm saying up first, then down. People don't understand English, right? The people who are born in America or born in the UK that are born into English-speaking families, they don't understand English. Up first, blow off, then it tops, then it crashes. In September to November this year. That's the plan. Okay, I could be wrong, but here I'll take you through it. Here's the plan. So why do we think this is going to happen? Well, the basically look at this situation we're in right now. There are a number of. I'm just going to show you guys the charts because most of my videos are like 12 to 15 minutes long. Right, I can't show you guys like the unemployment numbers or the housing is rolling over or the Yanks crashing, whatever. Like I can do separate videos on that, but today I'm just going to show you guys the basics of how it is playing out. So, for example, the NASDAQ, the SP 500. Do we agree right now that Bitcoin pretty much, I would like to say, follows SP 500? Some people get angry with that, and then maybe I'll just say they move in the same cycle. If SP 500 was to top and to crash 50%, do you think Bitcoin would still be making new all-time highs? Do you think Bitcoin could be down like easily 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% if that happened, right? How many times do I have to prove that is the case? So here is SP 500. SP 500, this is what we call a rising wedge, right? A rising wedge tends to be broken down to the downside, right? Something like this, right? And then we go down, right? But for people who are unconvinced, they're going to wait for this breakdown in like February or March 2026. And they would say, oh my God, this major trend line has been broken. This one since COVID bottom 2020 has been broken. But folks like myself would just say, oh, look, we are COVID bottom was the reset, was kind of the reset. Now you have another perfect 5 wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th wave, something like this, right? Usually to fake out makes you think that this chart pattern doesn't apply. It'll pop above. Say in November, we get to like 650, 660, 670 area, somewhere around there with a long wick, topping tail, long wick up, close below 655, and then boom, there's the blow off top. Now, where have I seen this before? Remember this. This took from 2020 to end of 2025. So that's like 5 years, right? 5 years, 6 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to play out, topping a rising wedge pattern, right? The last time this played out was in the year 2000. And but before we go on, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to even show your ID. That means, of course, Americans can join. That means the platform can't even see you. So the IRS can't see you. The FBI can't see you. The tax office can't see you. The CIA, nobody can see you. Total privacy. Deposit and get 20% bonus, right? For example, deposit 100 USDT and get 20 USDT futures bonus. Deposit 1,000 USDT, get 200 USDT futures bonus. Chance to win a MacBook Pro, iPhone 16, Apple Watch. And even if you're just in the top 20 of the Pablo competition, not the exchange competition, the Pablo competition, you get to win 2% of the prize pool, right? Okay, so this it's for limited time only, finishes on 11th of July. And if you're watching this on any other platform, then please, on YouTube, then click on the description below. If you're on YouTube, click on the description below. But if you're on another platform such as this one, then just click on my profile page and there's my stand link or link tree. We click on that and should be the first link that comes up, right? Because this is a great deal, Bitunix. Okay, let's get back to it. Folks, and remember, only on the Pablo He-Man link. Only on the Pablo He-Man link. Here we go. So the last time we saw this was in the 2000 crash. And there are so many similarities right now from what we have right now to the 2000 crash, in my opinion. 2000 crash in the stock market was basically also what they call the dot-com bubble. Why do they call this the dot-com bubble? Well, because you had a lot of dot-com stocks, right? Basically, someone would just launch a dot-com stock and people would buy that on the NASDAQ and they'll say, oh, I bought like 50 bottles of wine. I'm putting that in my mom's house's basement, but I'll create a web space called wineseller.com or wines.com, whatever. And nobody has heard of that before. What's a .com? What's a internet company? But that will become the next Amazon or pets.com or ebay.com, whatever, and it will take off. And right now we're seeing, and of course we know that everything about it crashed, except Amazon survived, Netflix came later, Yahoo came later, Google came later, and they all became huge. So the technology is real, but what happens at the time, the mania, the hype is fake, and it would crash things. So this is what happened during the year 2000. What do you notice about this? Also, another rising wedge. And this started from what, like easily from 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. So 5 years as well, something like that. And we see a sort of a clear 5 year. Well, okay, well, we've been going sideways since 95. So this wave kind of started from 95. So again, 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And then the wave count here. I'm not a Elliott wave count expert, but I've seen different counts. This is the count that I think makes the most sense, which is we start here, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is tricky because it has a fake out. Makes you think it tops here, everyone gets out, and then it goes up like this, and everyone's like, oh my God, I was so stupid for listening to Pablo. Get back in, and then chop sideways. This is a bull flag. This is just a bull flag. We're gonna go up, boom. And then the massive big trend line, all-time trend line breaks, and then boom. And this is only the SP 500. NASDAQ goes down 89%. So that's what I think would happen with the stock market. And look, I can just quickly explain that it's because right now the Fed just refuses to cut rates. It's perfect. It's a perfect storm because we're seeing consumer spending weakening. You might have seen in the news that even housing is starting to weaken. And yet the Fed just cannot cut. It's a perfect storm because Trump does this tariff thing, and I understand that he uses tariffs as a tactic to negotiate. So he says very high tariffs to begin with, and then he will actually lower it. He knows that tariffs cause inflation. He knows that Americans pay for tariffs, not China or Vietnam, but he needs to play his game of the art of the deal. He needs to ask for a ridiculously high tariff first, then lower it. And the Federal Reserve just doesn't know which part is true, which part is fake. They don't know what the real final tariff rate is going to be. So they keep the interest rates high. They keep the interest rates high. American businesses, mortgages, housing, all of that just goes into a lot of trouble. Okay, so I will get to Bitcoin and show you guys how the Bitcoin 5-wave structure plays out and where I think Bitcoin could top the the exact price and time. But before then, I'll just show you guys, because some people are going to be unconvinced and just be like, the people who believe in fundamentals is just going to be like, oh, he's just pointing at some charts saying, oh yeah, here's a wave, there's a wave, and here's a pennant, and here's a head and shoulders, whatever. So for the folks who are unconvinced, I'll just show you some data. So for example, 60% now of US counties have declining home values. The last time this happened was 2022. And we're almost there. And that was because the Fed had those high interest rates, right, rising from 0 to 5.5%, and everyone was in a panic. But the time before that it happened was this wave. 2009 GFC crashed the entire housing market. Right now, it's on the rise, on the rise, on the rise. So if you compare 61.8%, last time it hit this area was around here. It was like mid-2007. And then came 2008, 2009. That's the famous crash, the big short, so to speak. I do not think that the major crash comes from housing this time. I'm just showing you guys, this is one of the many threats that's stacking up right now. One of the many threats. Let's look at another one. This is the Wilshire 5,000, all 5,000 stocks of the United States. Like this is like the total market cap of not just the NASDAQ, not just the SP 500, but also including the Russell 2000. Everything in the United States divided by the GDP ratio. Look at this, 200% right now, highest in history. Like even the 2000.com bubble, I just showed you guys, 2007 crash, I just showed you guys, was only like, this is like 140% and 105% or something. For guys who can't see well, you should be able to see. You should be able to see this. That's 100%, right? We are here. Why is the stock market so crazy this time? Because they started printing money, QE, around here. That's why. Okay, so that's called the Buffett indicator, by the way. Warren Buffett uses this to judge if stock market's in a bubble or not. Another one, Florida, for example, for sale inventory. So this was the COVID crash, and now for sale going up. Basically, more supply coming into the market. Housing starts going down. I can show you guys this across the chart, across the spectrum, if people are interested in actually looking at the real economy. Like if folks are not just interested in looking at charts, making predictions about crypto and stocks, I can show you guys like corporate debt, like a Japanese yen is basically set to go up against the US dollar. That means $1 or $2 trillion are going back to Japan. That means that money is coming out of the US stock market. That means that money is coming out of the US bond market. So okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So this is more focused on technical details, and we're not so much looking at fundamentals, because it would take hours for me to explain this. If you guys in my Discord, you know what I'm talking about. I talk about these fundamental signals every now and then. So if we are to look at so here is Bitcoin. If we were to put it into logarithmic scale, okay, let's try Bitcoin in natural scale. Okay, so this is what Bitcoin chart looks like, and so basically the way I figure it's going to happen is basically on the big wave counts. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we top here, like somewhere here. I'll show you guys. So I think we pop above this trend line. We pop above, and everyone's like, oh well, new paradigm, right? New paradigm, and everyone's adopting a Bitcoin. And so the way fifth wave ends up somewhere here, like mid 100s, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this is the fifth wave, but we can still break it down to even more fifth wave, even more waves. So breaking down the fractal itself is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this, right? A crazy blow off and then top. So somewhere around let's say mid 100s would be a safe bet for me. It could still do like a third wave if we break it even down, even lower, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Quite crazy, volatile period coming up. Topping the same time around September to November would be around here. September to November around here, same time as SP 500, and then boom, end of empire, end of century bull market, something like that. So for folks who want to look for more signs that, I can show you guys more, drop a comment to let me know the fundamentals, the economic analysis. So right now we're seeing a lot of companies copy MicroStrategy and think it's okay to just buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin and buy as much Bitcoin as you can possible, and then your stock will go up 100x or even 500x. And literally that's happening. We're seeing that with MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet, and I buy some of those stocks as well. And I made a whole episode about that in yesterday's video. However, just because I participate in the short term for this bubble doesn't mean I'm not aware that it's going to pop one day and everything's going to go into a bloodbath. I'm aware of that. I don't gamble with my entire net worth. I put whatever I deem is I can risk to lose, I put it into playing that game. So, just things like this. Let me show you guys. Oh, by the way, I think those crypto stocks, like that buy Bitcoin and they just go up 200x, those crypto stocks, and there's starting to be a lot of them, is the new dot-com bubble. Is the new dot-com bubble of 2025. In 2000, we had the dot-com stocks pop. Now we have the dot-com bubble, the Bitcoin stocks or crypto treasury stocks. It's kind of the same phenomenon, 25 years apart. So just today we had the U.S. Federal Housing Financing Agency, such as, they regulate, agencies such as, companies such as Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. If you guys who are not American, you don't know what that is, look it up. They now issue an order to count Bitcoin and crypto. I can't believe this, not just Bitcoin, but and crypto as an asset for mortgage. And crypto. So that means, does that mean Solana? Or does it mean Fartcoin? Does that mean Elon's jizz? Elon's cum? Does that qualify as an asset for a mortgage? That's a real document from the U.S. Federal Housing Agency. So basically, you can now go and borrow money from I think that means banks to buy a house, and the bank asks you, what do you put up as collateral? And you say, I have 2 Bitcoins, 3 Fartcoins, 50,000 Elon's cum, and 10,000 Elon's jids. Give me a house. And they go, okay, that looks fine to me. Here's $1 million. Of course, that's a stretch version of where this could go, but that's saying this is the direction US is going. So so many topping signals, but not just yet. There's a difference between calling the top today and calling the top in, say, September to November 2025. Just in time for 250th year anniversary of the United States. End of empire top. I'll leave it at that. Catch you for next episode.